The symbol substitution method.
A dream is a story about you. Every object, every action, every situation in your dream may represent something about you and your inner world. In this workout, you'll decide what every piece of the dream has to do with you, and then you'll rewrite your dream to reflect this knowledge. Write down a list of the nouns and the verbs in your dream. In my dream, for example, I list the nouns insurance company, desk, stack of papers, Mary, flower, and lunch, and the verbs work, sitting, worrying, comes to visit, and invites. You can also link these words with their modifiers if you like. For example, a beautiful red flower and teasingly invites.
I identify the symbols in my dream. Hit the pause button to give yourself more time. Now we're going on to step 2.
Now for each word you listed, write down what that word means for you. Not a dictionary definition, just what it means to you. But be brief. For example, I define insurance company to mean a place that offers security but at the price of unhappiness. And I define stack as endless torture. I define teasingly invites as a two-edged sword, attractive and scary in an adventuresome sort of way. And so on as I go to define all the nouns and verbs in my dream. So now you define the symbols in your dream.
I define personal meanings for each dream symbol. Hit the pause button to give yourself more time. We're going on to step 3.
Now that you've defined the symbols in your dream, I want you to rewrite your dream. And every time you come to one of those words that you defined, I want you to substitute in your definition. You'll get a rough translation of your dream in your own terms. For example, my dream begins with, I'm back at work at the insurance company, sitting at my desk. As I begin to translate the dream, I write, I'm back at. And instead of writing work, I write my definition for work, which is a struggle of effort against resistance. And instead of writing insurance company, I substitute my definition, a place that offers security, but at the price of unhappiness. And for sitting, I write stuck in place, and so on. You may want to do the deluxe version of this workout. It takes more time, but can be very helpful. If so, when you're rewriting your dream and you're substituting in your definitions, add one of the following 2 key phrases to your definitions before you stick them in. The key phrase for nouns is part of myself. Adding this phrase to the end of your definitions for nouns suggests that the symbol reflects something about you. For example, in my dream, my definition for the noun work is a struggle against resistance. So where the word work appeared in my dream, I now substitute not just a struggle against resistance, but a struggle against resistance part of myself, to reflect the idea that the struggle I am talking about is some aspect of my own personality. The key phrase for verbs is, I have myself. Adding this to the beginning of your definitions for verbs suggests that the action reflects some expression of yourself. For example, in my dream, I have the verb sitting, and my definition for it is stuck in place. So when I substitute my definition in for the original word, I also add the key phrase and write, I have myself stuck in place, which suggests that I'm expressing some feeling of making myself captive. Take your time now and go back and rewrite your dream, substituting in your own definitions for the original words. And if you want to do the deluxe version, just before you go to substitute in your definitions for nouns, add the ending phrase, part of myself. And at the beginning of your definitions for verbs, add the phrase, I have myself.
I substitute my symbol definitions into the dream text to create a rough translation of my dream. Hit the pause button to give yourself more time. Now we're on to step 4.
That was a lot of work, wasn't it? You've taken a fairly straightforward story and turned it into a confusing jumble of words. But believe me, somewhere hidden in all those words, there's an important message for you. The next step is to edit your dream translation, to smooth it out so you can read it and have it make sense. The result is worth the effort. Here, let me show you what happened with my dream translation. We'll start with my first raw version in all its confusing detail. I have myself once again in the struggle against resistance part of myself, at a place that offers security, but at the price of unhappiness part of myself. I have myself stuck in place at what I have to deal with and don't deal with part of myself, and I have myself imagining how to feel fear and dread at the endless torture over pencil marks keeping score when I have a friend who believes in me part of myself appears at my side to keep me company, and I have this part of myself reach out to offer an intense, creative outpouring of energy part of myself, and I have this part of myself offer a two-edged sword, attractive and scary in an adventuresome sort of way, a time out for nourishment part of myself. Well, that was some piece of work, wasn't it? But I can sense some meaning in there. After 2 rounds of revisions, smoothing it out, it came something like this. Notice how the dream story has been transformed into a statement about a psychological process. Yet you can see, perhaps, if you reflect upon the original dream, that the meaning of the dream story is still expressed in my interpretation. Here goes. Once again, I find myself in a struggle against the powerful inner resistance that inhibits me. I'm in that headspace that is grabbing for security, but I'm making myself unhappy as I force myself to imagine feelings of fear and dread, torturing myself endlessly over the issue of keeping score on myself. Suddenly, a friendly feeling, like a best friend who believes in me, appears to keep me company. It reaches out with an intense outpouring of creative energy. The offer of an adventure, of taking time out to nourish myself with good feelings of confident self-esteem, is tempting me, attractive, yet it scares me. Remember, there is no one right way. The idea is to help the meaning come alive. If you come upon a better insight, great, use it. Let your feelings guide you. So now you give it a try. Read over your translation and be sensitive to what meaning is trying to come through. Smooth it out until it reads right and you like the way it sounds.
I polish my dream translation into a meaningful psychological statement about myself. Hit the pause button to give yourself more time. Now we're going to step 5.
The final step is to ask yourself, what do you want to do with this new dream insight? So write a few sentences about what you could do to put this new knowledge to the test. My dream interpretation suggests that conflicts over the need for security versus creative freedom can be resolved by the attitude I take toward myself, but that I'm not always sure I can risk feeling good about myself. How could I test this interpretation? Well, the next time I'm feeling insecure, I'm going to try to be my own best friend and see how I react to the offer of some nourishment to my self-esteem. Study your own dream interpretation for a moment now. Take a deep breath and begin writing.
I use inspirational writing to evaluate the significance of my dream interpretation.